Hey guys, welcome. I'm going to give a couple minutes for folks to log into the meeting. For those who are here, I'm glad to see you here. We're going to go ahead and get started at 1:05. So feel free to just hang out until then. We'll give people a couple minutes.
While we wait for everybody, I was just going to say, and I don't know if they're on here yet, but Marina and Mimi became certified international property specialists. So yay for them, yay. Congrats. If you're interested in doing that, the HAR International Advisory Group is also organizing it in October in Houston. It's going to be virtual, but we'll have Richard Miranda as the instructor, and I believe the cost is $399. Carlos, am I right? Do you know? I can look it up real quick. We were just talking about it this morning in the advisory group. But that is a really good certification, and when I did it, I paid $700 for it, so that's a great deal. Let me log in.
Hey, Kat, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, just a quick question. That's a one-time payment or you have to pay every year?
Yeah, you have to pay every year. So the one time is for the certification, and it's 5 days. So yeah, it's $399 is the fee. And I actually talked to them. It's 5 days in a row. 26, yeah, so it's 5 full days, so it can be a little bit full on. So if you like, you can just do 2 or 3 of the days and pay for them separately. I don't know if you can actually book that online, but if that's something that you'd like to do, just let me know, and I will get with Lori, who's the international director for HAR, how to set that up. But once you've done the certification, I believe it's $200 a year to keep it. And for the $200, you do get a magazine that comes. Oh, you booked it online, Karma? Great. You get a magazine that comes to your mail with trends that are going on, different where the buyers are coming from, and where all the tools that NAR provides, stats that they provide. So I think it's well worth it. So just throwing that out there. You can do it online as well at your own pace if you want, but not at that great.
So there is a way not doing it for 5 days in a row? Yeah, I would love to have that information. I'm gonna reach out to you later on privately if you can confirm the date of that and how to register.
Yes. Yeah. So if you do it directly on HAR, it is 5 days. It's October 26th through October 30th, and it's 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. So it is like a full week. So that's kind of full on, but it's very interesting. So you talk about different markets, different transaction tools that you have, different areas, local markets, how to run your business, where you can find all the information. It's a really cool course, and very useful as well.
Okay, fantastic. I'm definitely looking forward for it.
So if you want to do the separate thing, it is my opinion, but if you want to do just 3 of the 5 or something like that, reach out to me and I'll get that information from Lori on how exactly we can do that. And then you could book the other ones to do it either another time or do it online itself.
Oh, okay. But you still need to have the whole thing accomplished before you can get the certification.
Correct. Yes, and there are some. So once you've done the course, you have to apply to get your certification, and then so you fill out a form with a questionnaire, and you get points for certain things. So if you've done a transaction with a foreign national, then you get points for that. If you speak a different language, you get points for that. So it sounds like you got to do a lot of stuff, but once you start filling that in, everybody in this group will have it.
Oh, that sounds great. Thank you so much. Great information, Kathy.
Sure. So I'll hand it over to Naomi. I'll turn myself off.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you guys so much for this opportunity to present to you. Today I'm going to be talking about marketing yourself as an international realtor. But before we get started, I'd love to set a few ground rules just since we're on Zoom. At first things first, if y'all could just mute yourselves. I think you are automatically muted, and Gabby will be helping me throughout the course of the presentation to make sure that there aren't too many interruptions. If you do have a question and you're in a relatively quiet background, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask that question. If you got a lot going on, you can drop that in the chat. Again, Gabby will be helping me to monitor those things. And so let's go ahead and get started. My name is Naomi Butler. I am the marketing director here at KW Memorial. I have taught some classes that are more general social media and digital marketing. You can find those on the KW Memorial YouTube channel. So if you're looking for a general overview for marketing in general or digital marketing, that would be a great place to get started. So today I'm going to be talking about international marketing to give you a quick overview of what this class will entail and how the breakdown will go. We're going to start with talking about your brand and some quick tips on how you can brand yourself as an international realtor, more specifically on your social media channels. The next thing we'll talk about is the city of Houston, what makes it a great market for being an international realtor. Third, we're going to talk about your niche, and so that's just going to be targeting your messages to clients that most appeal to your interests and your special certifications and things like that. Languages you speak and that type of thing. And then the last thing in the bulk of this class is going to be tactics. And so we're going to talk about how you can implement this strategy and how you can take all of those items and sort of implement them into actionable items that will help you to be a better marketer and international realtor. And then we'll move into questions. So if you want to write down questions and hold them to the end, or if you want to pop in with a question, I'm okay with both of those. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, we're going to be talking about your brand. Now, one of the most important things when it comes to any type of marketing is establishing your brand or your persona in a certain area. So let's talk about some quick ways that you can implement different strategies to brand yourself as an international agent. So one really quick and easy way to do this is by using your bios on different social media channels, as well as HAR and Proxio. That's where people will generally get to know you right off the bat. And so having relevant information about being an international realtor in those areas is crucial. And some other things to consider, including in your bio, are the languages you speak and then the different areas that you may have traveled to. Another easy way to do that is to join an international organization. So as Catherine was just talking about, getting that CIPS certification or the Certified International Property Specialist, right now it's at a discounted rate. So that's a great thing to have and to include in your different bios across all platforms so people know that not only are you knowledgeable, but you're also certified in that area. It also provides a level of credibility for agents who are looking to break into that market. All right, so let's look at some examples of some bios. There are a couple of different ways that you can do this. So the first one is the example we're seeing on the left, and this is somebody with a predominantly international focus. So you'll notice that their entire bio is in Spanish, and it appeals more to their international clients. It addresses the countries and the experience they have directly. Now, some ways we could improve this bio on the left is by including some emojis. So you'll see on the right, they have some flags and things like that. Including emojis can be a great way just to break up a lot of text and make people feel more invited into the information. And then some other areas of improvement is adding hashtags. So recently, Instagram specifically allowed you to add hashtags in the bio field. This makes you more searchable. So if somebody searches international realtor, you're going to pop up higher on the search results if you have that hashtag in your bio. as well as potentially using the hashtag global real estate. So this is a great place to start. Another way that this gentleman could likely improve on this bio is you'll see he has one Instagram story highlight here. He could add a couple more that would really just help to give people a quick glimpse into what he does. Now, on the right-hand side, you'll see another example, and this one is a local realtor with a global focus. So you'll notice that they focus more on these local areas like Disney Vacation, downtown Orlando, and things like that. But they also use their global reach as sort of a footnote. So most of their real estate business is local, but they do some international transactions, which I think a lot of people on this call would fall into that bucket. You'll notice here he uses a lot of emojis, and he has some great highlights that are placed out here and titled. So that's a great way to promote yourself. Some things he could add are languages he speaks or languages that are spoken among his team, certifications, and again, using those hashtags in your Instagram bio makes you much more searchable. Tanya asked, do you need to have an international certification for you to promote yourself as an international agent? Not necessarily, Tanya, but it does provide a lot of credibility to be able to say, I'm an international agent and I have these certifications to prove it. Same thing with luxury. You can promote yourself as a luxury agent, but if you have a luxury division backing you or that certified luxury home marketing specialist certification, it just helps with your credibility. Okay. So here's some more ways you can use social media to brand yourself as an international agent. Number one, documenting your international travel. So when you're going on an international trip, have a plan laid out to what you're going to cover, maybe some different areas you're going to visit. A little bit later on, we'll talk about visiting KW market centers internationally and networking that way. But have a plan on what you're going to cover and what sort of content you're going to post in order to bring people in on that trip with you and just let them know that you're knowledgeable about the area. One thing you might want to consider if you travel somewhere frequently or have family that lives somewhere is creating a story highlight on your Instagram account or on your Facebook account so that you can start to build a collection of content from that area. And then another thing you can do is travel strategically. So when we talk a little bit later about identifying your niche market, you'll want to plan your travel according to whoever you think might be more appealing to your business. So the next slide, we're going to watch a quick video on how to create those Instagram story highlights, just so that you guys know how to actually take these steps with you. I'm happy to send this presentation to Gabby so she can send it out to the folks that are in this class, because I think it collects it on Zoom.
Yo, what's up guys? Andy here with another episode of Tap Lab. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Instagram highlights. So highlights are those little bubbles on your profile screen. A lot of people have been asking about these, asking me to do a video on it. So here it is. I might do a few parts to this, but first we're going to go over the basics of how to create an Instagram highlight. So first we want to swipe over, and then we want to go to our profile in the bottom right of the tab bar. And then like right below our description, you'll see a section that says story highlights. So you can go ahead and expand that or collapse it. And this is going to be the easiest way to create a highlight. So I'm going to go ahead and press new. And then I'm just going to pick one item here. So you can select as many as you want to be in each highlight. So if I pick 3 of these, there's going to be 3 items in one bubble. So I'm just going to pick one and hit next. And then we're going to go ahead and name this. So test 1, and then you can hit add in the top right corner. If you want to edit the cover photo, you can do that. You can move this around within this photo, or you can create completely custom ones. And then there's this photos icon here on the bottom of the screen, and you can tap that little icon and then select something from your phone. So if you wanted to select this, you could do that, or you could select whatever you want. Whatever you have on your phone, you can select. And then you would just hit done. And that's going to make a new cover image for this item. So then you can hit done, hit add. And there we've added one of those bubbles, one of those highlights. If we'd like to add another, I can hit new again. Let's Go ahead and pick this one, hit next, name this one test 2. Go ahead and add that. And there we have 2 items now. Let's just add one more real quick. So there we have 3 items. We've created 3 of these highlights. One thing to note is that if you want to rearrange these, you can't really do that. It would be nice if you could like drag and drop them. You can hold down on them and get some more options like edit it or delete it. But basically, if you want to rearrange them, you'd have to delete them all and then remake them all in the order that you would like. Let's go ahead and show the edit feature real quick. So I'll hold down on test 3. Then we can go to edit highlight. I can rename that if I want. So test 3.1, then I can hit done on the keyboard. And then below name, it's going to show all of the story posts that are in this highlight. So I could also go to archive. And then if I want to add more items to this, I can just begin to tap those and hit done. And then I've added more items to test 3. So if we go back to edit highlight, you'll see 3 items in there now. If I want to remove items from this, I simply uncheck that, hit done, and then it's been removed. So I can go back into edit, and now there's 2 items in there. So that's how to add and remove items to each one. Another thing to note is that there's no way to reorder the items within this. It's always going to go from newest to oldest. So if you want the items reordered, you pretty much have to repost all of those on your story in the order that you want them, and then create an entirely new highlight. So I'm gonna hit done here. So that's a little unfortunate. It'd be nice if we could rearrange these in the order that we wanted, reorder them however we wanted, but maybe they're working on some features like that and it will be available soon. But there you have it, a quick overview of Instagram.
Okay, so that's a great way to categorize your travel. You can create one of those for each of the countries you frequently visit. Maybe even you want to create different language ones where you give real estate tips in the many languages that you may speak. So there's endless amounts of ways to use that to leverage yourself and brand yourself as an international realtor. Oops, I'm sorry. The next one, we're bringing to the next section, we're going to talk about the city of Houston, also the state of Texas. This is a great place to be if you want to be an international real estate agent. So we'll talk a little bit here about how you can do that more effectively. All right, so everything's bigger in Texas, including the international real estate market. Texas is the 3rd largest international real estate market, right behind Florida and California. Texas is one of the biggest draws in the US for international buyers. So if you specifically want to work with those international buyers, good for you, you live in Texas. Houston is the number 5 most searched US city by non-US real estate consumers. So again, great place to be. And then Texas represents 10% of all international real estate transactions in the US. And $7.8 billion in international real estate transactions. All right, so a big thing here is knowing your feeder markets. Now I pulled these off 2019's report for from NAR for international real estate. And you'll notice here I focused more on volume than I did on actual frequency of transactions from different countries. So to efficiently market yourself as an international real estate expert, these are the top countries for international home buyers by volume, not by units. In the US, so understanding these little pockets of international buyer activity will really help you to focus your efforts in certain areas, and then also have conversations with economic development offices, Chamber of Commerce, even some of the embassies, because I know when we did the night for Brazil, Catherine, that you invited some members of different organizations that represent those communities. Another thing to note is Texas appears in searches for home buyers mostly from folks from Mexico, the Philippines, and Singapore. So 27% of the volume of home buyers internationally comes from folks who are from Asia, 22% from Latin America, 14% from Europe, 11% North America, and 26% other. That North America number is mostly people from Canada. Okay, so very brief, some percentages about the city. Now we're going to talk about identifying your target market. All right, so when identifying your niche, you want to start by taking an inventory of your interests, your different areas of expertise, and also the resources that you have access to. Here, the key is understanding how you can use your unique background and how it may overlap with different groups of international buyers in the market. So some things to consider or areas to start generating ideas. Number one, relocating foreign workers. Number two, inbound investors. Number three, people who might be interested in luxury properties or even buying a second or third property. Investment properties, also commercial properties, and then lastly, retirees, which interestingly enough, most people who come to the United States to retire are currently living in Europe. So if that is your niche market, you might want to start focusing maybe some advertisements on social media or even just posts that focus on retirees who might want to retire in the States. Okay, so while you want to build a very developed understanding of some of those international markets that you're focusing on, don't neglect the opportunity to understand your local market, and not just understanding the real estate market, but understanding all of the different elements that affect life for people who might want to move to the States. So some things to consider is understanding the political circumstances, currency issues, laws, cross-cultural relationships, and world conditions. You're going to want to prepare for international clients by understanding not only Houston real estate, but also the cost of living, educational opportunities, more specifically educational opportunities for folks who might be English as a second language learners. Healthcare systems within the United States differ very much from other countries. Have a good understanding of those things so you can walk clients through those needs, as well as requirements for local tax systems. So that's one of the benefits of getting the CIPS certification and building a network of international realtors, because you can sort of start to ask those questions because they differ from country to country. And one of the biggest things, huge is not a word, one of the biggest things when it comes to being an international realtor is navigating those cultural differences that you might experience when working with clients from other countries. Catherine and the international group have done a great job of listing some resources here where you can go. At Home with Diversities is an online manual. You can just do a Google search and get access to look through some ways to navigate those cultural differences. And then also, they featured a class called Kiss, Bow, and Shake Hands that talks about how to navigate cultural differences. I would recommend that you take that class or reach out to somebody in the international division so they can get you access. So, and then some quick tips for this is just be patient, have empathy, seek to understand, employ active listening skills, and look more closely at those cultural differences. All right, so the last part of this class is we're going to be talking about tactics. This is going to be the longest part of the class, but we're going to talk about how you actually take these things and implement them. So it's all about turning your niche into a plan. Tactics like face-to-face client networking, joining local groups, online marketing, and attending seminars and workshops can help plan out your path to becoming an international real estate expert with a powerful referral network. So let's get started on the fun part, which is your tactics. Number one, obviously you want to start building a global referral network. Partner with other realtors and build that network. Nurture the possibility of international referrals. Many international clients will have referrals if you do well with their transaction. Okay, so one of the huge benefits of being a part of Keller Williams is the access to KW worldwide. A quick tip, search for KW offices to visit when you travel. So if you're going to Mexico, reach out to the team leader at the market center there. Make sure you stop by and visit and talk with some of the realtors. It will help you build a network that's more meaningful than just reaching out through digital platforms. There's over 940 locations worldwide. I've listed some here, but There are networks in some of the largest feeder markets. So we talked about Asia, Latin America, North America, and Singapore, the Philippines, and Mexico. Those are great places to start. Also, I believe many places on Europe were there in terms of retirees. So Gabby so graciously put together a video for us. It's kind of difficult online to find where these KW offices internationally are. And so this is how you can actually search for those offices and agents in those offices through Command and start connecting with folks in our feeder markets for Houston.
Hello, I'm going to show you how you can actually look for market centers in different countries in the world. So what you want to do is to click on the referrals outlet right here on our left menu. Once you are there, what you're going to do is you're going to go to the map right here in the top bar menu. You're going to click right there. And then in here, you're going to look, if you're looking for a particular country or city in the world, you can go ahead and just type that in. I'm going to go with, let's say, Italy for today. So you're going to click on Italy. And then instead of production, if you're looking for market centers, and then you can reach out to their team leaders, or you can just reach out to their offices as well if you're visiting those countries. You can just click on market centers, and you'll see how you will find the market centers available worldwide. So if you zoom out, you'll see, let's say in Europe, you have this many market centers. So each time you see a little number, for example, right here, if you click on it, then that means it's 9 market centers in that area. And I hope that helps, guys. And then once you find those market centers, on the right, you're gonna see the list of agents. And of course, once you're here, you can always sort them by closed units. So that will give you the top agents at the beginning if you're looking to meet with top producers in those particular cities.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gabby, for putting that together. That was an awesome video. And this is a great way to search. One thing you'll notice is that little person outline with the plus sign. Add them to your referral network, start connecting with them. Even add them to like an international agent campaign on Command, where they get frequent emails from you about the Houston market and what makes it a great place for international buyers. It's a great way to start building those relationships now. Okay, so another really great way to increase your exposure is to get connected with members of the media. So this can be a little bit more of a challenging tactic just because it's not as easy to get connected with the media as it is to post on social media, for example. But this can provide a pathway for a lot of agents to gain more visibility specifically in the international real estate market. So if you want to take on a challenge, I would recommend implementing this tactic into your business marketing strategy. News professionals are usually more active on Twitter, so this is a great platform to establish some connections like that. And then I'm also in the next slide, we'll watch a quick video on how you can use press releases and ads to increase your potential clients in this way. Now, we also have some great connections in the office. So for example, Lily Jang, she was in the news industry for a long time. If you have a relationship with her, she's super sweet. And you can also give her some content and just ask her to tag you. That would be a great way to sort of get in front of those professionals indirectly. And if you give someone a great story, that media professionals are always looking for great stories. If you give someone a great story or a great lead on a story, they'll be willing to reciprocate that and get you that exposure that you're looking for in front of those international folks. So this next video is how to write a press release. Caveat, you can also have someone write a press release for you on Fiverr if you give them all the information that you need to be included. But if you're a DIY person like me, here's how you can do it.
In today's video, we're going to learn how to write a press release. A press release is a summary of important news related to your company. You send it to several news organizations so they're aware of what's happening. If they're interested, they'll write about the news in their publications. With this in mind, press releases tend to be a lot shorter than regular articles and focus on facts primarily. Here are 4 tips to ensure your press release get the attention they deserve. Number 1, use a clear and informative headline. The best way to grab a journalist's attention is to summarize your press release within its title. Here are a few examples of real press release titles. TV Ears unveils the first senior-friendly HD TV at Consumer Electronics Show. The Powerline Group announces new college scholarship program for Long Island and national students. Day Translations celebrates 10-year anniversary. Each of these press releases describes exactly what the content will discuss. If you're used to writing clickbaity titles, it's a habit you need to get out of when writing a press release. We also recommend you keep post titles relatively short most of the time. However, you should look to include as much detail as you can offer within your titles. It's a hard balance to get right. Number 2, get people's attention with your first paragraph. It's an unfortunate truth, but many readers skim. When you write a press release, there are 5 key elements to cover: who your press release is about, what the core subject of the press release is, when the events within the press release will occur, where your news, event, or promotion will take place, and why readers should be interested or why the press release is newsworthy. You don't necessarily have to write in the order we've presented, and also depending on what your news is, it may not be necessary to hit all 5 of these elements. Number 3, include quotes whenever possible. Many journalists love quotes because they give social proof and a more personal touch to their stories. As far as the quotes go, you'll usually want to stick to people from within your business. Preferably, this person will be someone with authority and relevance, as they'll need to give some insight about the news you're trying to share. And finally, number 4, add some boilerplate information about your business. Unless you're well known, the recipients of your press release will have little idea of what your business does. Ideally, your press release's first paragraph will take care of this somewhat with the who element. Check out this example. The goal is to provide all of the most basic information for whoever's tasked with reading the press release. A decent journalist will of course do further research, but including a paragraph like this is still good practice. So, as we've outlined, each press release is unique. However, in many cases, they follow a similar structure. We've included a free press release template in our blog post, linked in the video description for you to use. At the beginning, include basic contact information so journalists can reach you. The line "for immediate release" is standard, as are the 3 octothorpes, which signifies the end of the press release. Everything in between will depend on what your news is. 1 page is usually enough, although that's up to you. And there you go. You now know how to write.
Okay, so I'm sure you guys are already thinking of newsworthy titles. I am too. So one really great thing right now is obviously how the international real estate market in Houston has been affected by COVID-19. This is a great way, this is a great topic to send out, even if you just start tweeting about it today. Put out some stats or maybe some personal experiences that you've had with the international real estate market and COVID-19. Another really great thing to do at this time would be to talk about travel to your specific country. So specifically for Texas, some international countries are restricting travel for Texas. So a great thing would be to sort of release some information, tweet something, write a press release about, for example, how the Caribbean is handling people coming in from Texas. Those are great places to start. It doesn't always have to be a formal press release. Like I said, you can start tweeting information out and just following some relevant media personalities to try to start connecting with them. Find out what they're hashtagging, what they're tweeting about, and try to replicate that strategy so that you get noticed. And again, you can have press releases written on Fiverr if this is not your thing.
In today,
okay, the next tactic is face-to-face client networking. So identifying some local venues that might get you in front of your niche market can get you connected and have access to some people that you might not have had access to before. So we've talked about it a lot. Consider traveling overseas and choose the venues that will provide you with maximum exposure for your market of choice. So there are a few conferences that you might want to consider attending or looking into. The first one is the Beijing Overseas Property Investment Expo. So when we talked about the niche markets, if your niche market is investors, that would be somewhere where you're going to get maximum exposure. Now, some of these things may be delayed or canceled completely due to the current virus, but a lot of them are happening online or virtually. So you might even be able to build those connections without spending the money on the plane ticket. So definitely still look into these. The next one is in Munich, Germany, and it's International Trade Fair for Commercial Property and Investment. So again, investors as well as the international commercial market. If that's something that interests you, definitely look into that. The Professional Property Investor Show in London, Cityscape Global in Dubai, and then lastly, KW Family Reunion in Las Vegas. They always have international agents who actually come to the KW Family Reunions, especially the ones who are new market centers. And so the new market centers is a great opportunity to build a referral base for folks that you don't have a huge referral network already because they're just new KW agents or a new KW market center in that country. And you can start your own market centers if that's something you're passionate about. If there's a country that you want to start a market center in, go to kwworldwide.com and you should be able to find information about that. Where is there more information about the overseas event? Barry asked. I'm going to have this presentation sent out after this, and you can just Google these different expos, and all of them have websites that you can look at and register for the events. Okay, so another really great tactic to start marketing yourself is joining some local groups. So the first thing is, Houston has a bunch of ethnic business organizations that you can join in order to start networking with people in those areas. So all of those people aren't necessarily real estate agents. It's a great way to start connecting with folks in your market. The next thing is cultural associations who host events and features. The best one I can think of is the International Division here at KW Memorial. They do a great job of putting on events that showcase a specific culture. And so being a part of planning that is a great opportunity to build connections. And even just attending one is also a really great opportunity to build connections and just have content to put out about being an international agent. All right, so now we're going to talk about online and digital marketing and social media, and this is the fun part. So the first part is having a website. So start with an appealing website. Having a website that's functional on mobile and searchable is great. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind, every country is not crazy about iPhone. So make sure that your website works on iPhones and Android phones. If you have a friend who has an Android phone, just make sure that your website is functional on both and looks great on both. If it's not, reach out to whoever develops your website or play around with it if you're using something like Wix or Squarespace or Command to make sure that it works well. The next thing is finding the right social platforms for your market. So Facebook is not the top social media platform in other countries. Other countries use a variety of social media platforms to stay involved. You may have to do a bit of research to find for your specific group if I don't mention it here, but you need to know exactly where you can connect with your niche because you can spend thousands of dollars on Facebook ads, but if your target audience isn't on there, then you're wasting your money. Okay, so like I said before, Facebook is a leader in the US, but not the leader everywhere. Here's some platforms you might want to consider familiarizing yourself with to market to various international markets. So Expat Exchange is a great place to connect internationally, as well as Expat Forum. Boomers Abroad is a great place to connect with retirees moving from Europe. And then LinkedIn. Also, you can include relevant keywords for your niche on LinkedIn for international buyers, and you can participate in what are called LinkedIn groups. So there's a lot of international real estate groups for LinkedIn that you can help to build your referral network. And then there are LinkedIn groups for different languages, professionals from different countries and stuff like that that you can start to connect with now. Another thing is Twitter is much bigger in other countries than Facebook is. So look for similar posts to follow and consider a media scheduler, because one thing that you may notice is that your target audience may be in a country that isn't in the same time zone as us. And so you may be posting while you're awake, but your posts are going up on Twitter when they're asleep. And so that doesn't really help you in your strategy, because by the time that they're awake and active on social media, your posts have already been shoved down to the bottom of the timeline. Use a social media scheduler to post during optimal times for engagement for your target audience. It might look a little weird to people who are in the US, who are like, why is she posting at 2 a.m.? But for the people in your international market, that's really, really beneficial. And then be prompt when you get up in the morning to respond to comments and engagement on those posts. So if you schedule a post for 2 a.m., at 6 a.m., make sure you respond in a timely manner. Don't wait until those folks might be asleep, because then you're losing your opportunity to engage. Okay, so you might be wondering, I mentioned LinkedIn groups, and you're like, I have never heard of a LinkedIn group. I'm gonna show you through this video how you can actually search for those groups and join them.
One way to make new connections with people from your industry is to join a LinkedIn group. They're a great way to exchange ideas, catch up on industry developments, and make new connections. You can find groups in a couple of different ways. First, you can click My Network, then select Groups in the Recommended for You section. LinkedIn will give you numerous groups it thinks you may like based on your profile and professional interests. You can also find groups by using the search box at the top of the screen. Just type your search term and press Enter. Then click More and select Groups. We recommend keeping your search fairly general at first, then narrowing it down as you learn what's available. If you see a group you're interested in, click the title to learn more. If you want to be a part of a group, click Request to Join. The owner of the group will then decide whether to let you join. While many groups accept almost anyone who shows an interest, some may be more exclusive, depending on your professional background and connections.
Awesome. So this is a great tool for those of you looking to focus more on the international luxury market and also the international investor market. When I did a few searches, I found more groups for the investors and the luxury groups than I did for other groups. But that doesn't mean it's not worth searching if you have different interests or a different market. Okay, and then the last tactic I have for you guys today, before we move to questions, is holding seminars and workshops. You can, right now everything's virtual, which really benefits everyone because it's a good opportunity to just get your name out there on some of those virtual platforms by holding seminars and classes. A great way to do this would be to do Facebook Live events for international buyers that are in different languages that you might speak. So you can do a full Facebook Live event in Spanish for your Latin American clients. And that would be appealing for them, but also work great for your local strategy as well, because there are plenty of Spanish-speaking home buyers here in Houston. I mentioned Facebook Live because it's a really easy way to do it, but you can also create a Zoom meeting or a Zoom class and just market it on some of the other platforms that are available, like Twitter. One thing to keep in mind here again is if you have international clients who might not be in the same time zone, you might need to schedule this seminar for like a crazy time. But if you just do it once, it works. You can also just record it and then have it go up on your social media channels at a specific time if you wanted to do it that way. So that is all I have for you guys today. I hope this class was helpful. Do you guys have any questions for me?
No question, Naomi, but it was really awesome. Thank you so much for all the tools and the advice that you gave us today.
Okay, awesome. Well, Well, I will have the presentation sent out so you guys can rewatch the videos or get the templates for the press release and things like that and get started. I'll put my email is naomi.butler@kw.com. So if you have those questions that pop up, please feel free to reach out. I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Catherine because she might have some announcements.
I actually don't have any announcement, but I want to say thank you so much. That's a lot of work you put in there and a lot of really good information. I was trying to keep track, but yeah, if you could send out those slides, that'd be great, especially so we can review those videos. Yeah, great job. Thank you so much. And I think there's no questions because we're all like reeling with the information you gave us.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad it was good information, guys. I had a lot of fun researching for this class.
Awesome. Thank you. And then I see somebody asking a question.
Oh, can we pay the marketing department to do PR Fiverr thing for us if it is a bit more? I'd be happy to help you guys with the press releases.
Oh, that's the press release. I'm like, what? Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Naomi. And if you have any questions, Naomi just gave her email address, or if you missed it, then you can email me as well. And we don't have anything scheduled yet for next month, but if you have any suggestions for future classes, please reach out to me and let me know. We'd love to see you. Next week is our International Committee meeting at 1 o'clock on Zoom. The link will be on the calendar. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you. Bye.
Bye.